Hello everyone, it is once again time for me to talk about how I wasted my hard-earned money. Am I going to talk about how 2 years after buying my home with a washer and dryer, the washer and dryer died on me and I had to buy a new set? No. Am I going to talk about how immediately after making one big purchase, my dishwasher decided to explode on me and I needed to replace it? No. Am I going to talk about how my dog cost $74 to groom even though I only had her shaved down for the summer? No special haircuts? No. I'm going to talk about the things that I bought to fill the hole in my soul and distract me from the slow creep of death. That being toys, video games, and comic books. Now, ordinarily, I end with video game consoles because they are the most interesting things. But frankly, this one just isn't. This is a Sega Genesis Model 3. I have never owned a Sega Genesis Model 3. Grew up with the Sega Genesis Model 2. Later on, got the high-definition graphics model, the Model 1. Have had both the Tower of Power as well as the side-by-side for the Sega CD. But I just never really had cause to own a Genesis 3. I think this is widely considered to be the worst version of the Genesis. Picked it up at the Inland Northwest Toy Fair because it was there, and I wanted to add a Genesis 3 to the collection. And also, I got two Genesis 6-button controllers with it, and I got it for $20. So, not a bad deal. Obviously, I'm not really going to be playing much on this one, but it was, again, just something I wanted to add to the collection. So that's about all I have to say about the only video game console. So moving on to toys, also at the Inland Northwest Toy Fair. There were, you can tell when people have interests there. I picked this up at a booth, and I just bumped the camera. This is Motaro from Mortal Kombat. And I don't believe that the person who was selling him had any idea what he was. This version of Motaro, I believe, would have come with a skeleton, changeable heads, as well as, I think, changeable hands, and a fireball for him to throw. I got none of that. But I paid another $20 for this Motaro. I think complete with all the additions, it goes for about $120. That would be in box and everything. But, I just picked this up to add to my Mortal Kombat collection. And yeah, he's in pretty good shape. There's no real damage to him. He's just missing parts. But as he is, he just stands on a shelf for me. And I don't know. I feel as if I got a good deal on him. But yeah, that is Motaro, my little pony. Nobody likes the Centaurians. I like the Centaurians. I like them more than Shokan. Speaking of Mortal Kombat, I did get a chance to go see Mortal Kombat 2 in IMAX. And yes, I am one of the dumbasses who bought the Shao Kahn popcorn bucket. Yes, I am one of those consumers. I ordinarily would not do this. The last popcorn bucket I think I bought before this, what was it? Probably The Last Jedi, maybe? I have not bought a popcorn bucket in a while. But Mortal Kombat is special to me. I love Mortal Kombat. I love this movie. 100% I loved Mortal Kombat 2. I thought it was great. It was everything that sucked about the first not the 1995 movie. Everything that sucked about Mortal Kombat 2021, I think. Everything that sucked about that, they corrected in this. They just got on with it, and it was great, and I loved it. Loved Carl Urban as Johnny Cage. Loved, and I am sorry, I am blanking on the actress's name, but Katana was fantastic. Jade, obviously, there was some controversy about being woke and all of that stuff about Jade. Jade was great. I will agree, I don't know why the actress is bald or why they played her like that, but hey, aside from the haircut, she was great. She was just like Jade. I mean, that is that character, that loyalty to Katana, that being a great assassin, that is Jade to a T. Actress did a great job. In fact, I remember there was a panel with that actress, and she was the only one that could remember, because they asked about Dark Raiden, and she gave the explanation of how Dark Raiden came to be in Deception being my favorite Mortal Kombat game. And they wanted the one from Mortal Kombat X. And so she knew a lot about Mortal Kombat, so kudos to the actress who played Jade. But yeah, I love Mortal Kombat 2. I think it kind of bombed, or at least didn't do as well. But I loved it. I saw it in IMAX, and then I saw it in a small theater. One of the best things about the IMAX version of Mortal Kombat 2 is because the screen is wider. There are scenes where the characters square up and the screen widens as if like it's a video game, and you were going into that cutscene. It was fantastic. I loved it. Mortal Kombat 2, great. Rent it on whatever the hell people rent things on these days, or watch it on whatever the hell people watch things on. Just give them money. Give them money, because I wasted my money on it, and I want to waste my money on it again, and I would like to see their next movie. Okay, this time, we can call this my summer comic book special, because most of what I have to show you are comic books. So first out of the gate is this. This is a Rob Liefeld Captain America. Yes. This is not the famous barrel-chested cap that always makes the rounds on the internet. That was actually a promotional image. This is similar to it. He's not as beefy as the promotional image. But I have never owned a Rob Liefeld cap. I never read this. It was 1997. I was 4 years old. I couldn't read. I don't think I could read. I don't really remember when I learned to read. But I obviously was not reading this at the time. This is, to my knowledge, the first one I picked up. I could have picked one of these up in a long box without knowing. But this was actually at an antique store in Clarkston, Washington. And I was just going through the long boxes there, just browsing, and I saw it. And I was like, I've got to get Captain America is my favorite character. This is such a, for better or worse, this is an iconic design. And I just had to pick this up, even though I've never really read the Heroes Reborn or anything involving this. But yeah, I wanted to pick it up. I got nothing against Rob Liefeld. I think he's an interesting guy. I like seeing his TikToks on here. So, or if you're watching this on YouTube, I like seeing his videos on TikTok. But interesting fellow, and so I was just had to grab that. Moving on, I love video game merchandise. You saw my Motaro, the popcorn bucket. I like anything that ties in with video games, especially with video games that are really special to me, obviously Mortal Kombat. And so I came across one of the IDW Metal Gear Solid books. This is issue number 3. I haven't read the series. In fact, I vaguely was aware of this. So I did not, I've not bought this. This is the first one that I have ever purchased. I would like to someday maybe get the whole set, but they are expensive. Although, as you will see later on, the amount of money that I'm willing to waste on comic books is probably more than you'd think. And I say that because I am a giant man-child and don't have children or a wife or anyone who loves me. But this Metal Gear Solid comic book is, it's got Gray Fox on it. I picked it up at the Lilac City Comic Con, which was my first time at Lilac City Comic Con. And it was a nice time. It was kind of refreshing. I've been to San Diego Comic Con. I've been to a few other mid-sized Comic Cons. Lilac City was really interesting because it felt very much about the comics. And I'm not going to be one of those people who's like, oh, it's got to be about the comics. Don't show up dressed as the digital circus or whatever the hell kids are doing these days. But there was a big focus on selling and trading and buying comic books. And I was into it. Came across this as well as several other things that you will see here in a sec. But yeah, I had to pick it up. Metal Gear Solid is my favorite game of all time. And so I had to grab that. Back to Mortal Kombat. Yes, I bought the Malibu issue 0 of Mortal Kombat. Again, I love Mortal Kombat. I love Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero is my favorite. But I would actually like to have a full run of the Malibu Mortal Kombat series someday. I would have to figure out how I want to do that. Because I'd have to kind of figure out all the ones that I already have, because these are not the first ones that I purchased. So I'd probably have to plan that out, but I did go for the ones that I knew specifically that I did not have already. And I'm sure it will be somewhat pricey when I try to go for that complete set. But again, when we get to the end of this, you will question why I haven't done that already. Again, moving on to Kitana and Mileena. The secret of Kitana revealed. Yes, Kitana's got generally Mileena is the one that is the one with the secret. But no, we're going to talk about Kitana's secret in this issue. But again, we're going back to the 90s for Mortal Kombat, and I used to not really be too interested in these, and then kind of Mortal Kombat took some twists and turns, and I'm not saying that Mortal Kombat sucks now. I am not a big fan of Mortal Kombat 1, but because it is now doing this multiversal thing, I feel a lot more interested in kind of these non-canon Malibu books now. I actually did read the Mortal Kombat X comics, and I was actually a little disappointed when they became non-canon. But now I'm kind of going back and revisiting these, and so more on that. I picked up Mortal Kombat U.S. Special Forces. Now this is U.S. Special Forces, not just Special Forces. This is not the game that sucks and is the worst Mortal Kombat game in its intended version. As I stated before, I would say that some of the handheld titles are worse than Mortal Kombat Special Forces for the PS1, but in terms of the way it is intended to be played and released, Mortal Kombat Special Forces is the worst Mortal Kombat video game. But we have Jax, and we have Sonya, and we have G.I. Joe, and Homelander, and Vega. And yeah, I will, despite being a huge Mortal Kombat fan, I am not familiar with these other characters. So I'm happy to have this, and I'm going to actually sit down and reread this, because not only do we have Mortal Kombat U.S. Special Forces 1 of 2, I got 2 of 2, so I actually have the 2 issues here. So I'm interested in seeing where this goes and learning more about this non-canon Mortal Kombat lore, because frankly, Mortal Kombat canon is such a mess now. Anyway, it's time to embrace the madness and learn some stuff. I always liked, I was active in the Mortal Kombat community online, and I always learned a lot of stuff from people like TabMach99, all this stuff that I never knew about these comics. And so kind of learning it for myself firsthand, I would eventually like to get a complete set. Now, moving forward, the last of the, we'll call these mid-tier comics, because I did pay some amount of money for this one. This is EverQuest, The Ruins of Kunark, or Kunark. I don't know how it's supposed to be said. I remember there was a big debate about whether or not it was Kanos, whatever, back in EverQuest. I always said Kanos, but EverQuest was the second or third MMO I ever played. And the reason it's second or third is, first MMO I ever played was RuneScape Classic. Second MMO I ever played is either this, but before this, I played for like an afternoon Ultima Online, which is weird because Ultima Online, I believe, predates RuneScape. But I played Ultima Online for an afternoon, and it was beyond my childhood capabilities. So I did play that, but EverQuest, I did play. With an asterisk, I did not play this EverQuest. I played EverQuest Online Adventures for the PlayStation 2. That might actually be the first online console gaming experience I ever had, was EverQuest Online Adventures. And it was fascinating because I hesitate. I'm thinking back, we lived in a very rural place, and the ability to play that game is kind of mind-boggling to me looking back on it. I mean, I'm now starting to rethink, like, did we have DSL at the time? Because I'm kind of shocked that we were able to play it. I do remember there being times in which, it would lag, especially during swimming or being in water. I remember rubber banding in a river outside the dwarf capital, Moradin, is that right? But I remember I was a dwarf rogue. It's actually how I learned the word rogue, was from EverQuest Online Adventures, and I was a dwarf rogue. Did not have the keyboard, which made it very hard to communicate with other players. But I remember playing that on the PlayStation 2. And so I have fond memories of EverQuest, but not the EverQuest that a lot of people do. But just in going through, it was interesting. I was at a booth, really nice guy. I think I actually overpaid him. I think he was going to give me change. Maybe he scammed me. If he scammed me, good on you, buddy, because you got away with the extra $10 or whatever. because we were just engaging in conversation, and he never gave me my change, and I walked away. So yeah, it's that easy to scam me. But no, I actually, he was a really nice guy, and I was actually willing to pay more, because even the amount I gave him was less than the actual sticker price of the books. But this was one of them, and he had a whole section that was labeled video game. That's where I got a bunch of the Mortal Kombat stuff too, as well as the Metal Gear Solid book. But yeah, when I saw EverQuest, I just thought, oh, this was kind of special. This was a part of it. And Jim Lee. So with that, we now move on to the big purchase. This is an item that I spent an embarrassing amount of money on. I was thankful that the individual who sold this to me was willing to negotiate with me and did come down on the price. But with this might be the rarest item I own. So we've talked a lot about video games. Metal Gear Solid is my favorite game of all time. Mortal Kombat was a very special game to me during my teen years. I got really into it. It was a game that I actually played a lot, like right after my father died. And then EverQuest, obviously, I have some childhood memories as my first foray into, one of my first forays into online gaming. There is another game that is very special to me. It's a game that hasn't had a installment in 14 years at this point. But it is a game that nonetheless was really, really special to me as a kid. I first played it with my older brothers. I have memories of playing it with my dad. It was a game that, as a child, introduced me to some concepts of both humor mixed with horror, mixed with fear. It was dark, but it was funny, and it was interesting, and I had never seen anything like it, and some of the endings scared the hell out of me, but I loved it, and that game is Twisted Metal, specifically Twisted Metal 2. And so, in 1996, they put out a Twisted Metal 2 tie-in comics. DC Comics put this out. This was a promotional comic to advertise the upcoming Twisted Metal 2. This comic gave the origin of Calypso. It was a different origin than that was sort of said in Twisted Metal 1. In Twisted Metal 1, Calypso apparently got his powers from a demon called Black. In this one, Calypso got his powers directly from Satan, who wanted better drivers in hell for his demolition derbies. This book is rare. At least I've been told that it's rare. From what I can see online, the tale of Twisted Metal 2, the comic book, is that there were 100 issues of this book printed. That could be a lie. I don't know. That 50 of those issues were given out as part of a competition in a magazine, and that another 10 were given away to people who wrote in to the magazine to get a copy. The remaining 40, allegedly, were scrapped, meaning that this book is potentially one of only 60 of a series that are known to exist or that are believed to exist. There could be fewer, as some of the ones that were given out may have been destroyed. I had an opportunity to buy this book a few years ago. It was not graded. This is graded as a 7.0. If you look it up, there is a 9.4, I think, that is circulating out there. But I had the opportunity to buy an ungraded version of this book a few years ago, and I did not do it. I regretted that ever since, because I just never saw it again. And it was really something of a holy grail for me, and I kicked myself a lot for not pulling the trigger. And so I actually set eBay alerts to tell me when this book came up for sale again. And it came up. The seller was in Sweden. He was a good guy, actually really great guy. He was with me all the way through the import process, which was a pain in the ass. But he came down on his price. We struck a deal. I will tell you, I most certainly overpaid, than what this book is probably worth at a 7.0. Although I don't know, these are so rare, I have no idea what you could say the going price should be. But I probably screwed it up for everybody by probably overpaying for this. But I had to do it. This is one of those moments in life where if I didn't pull the trigger, I got the feeling I never would have the opportunity again. And this book is special to me. Twisted Metal is a special series to me, especially Twisted Metal 2. Playing with my brothers as a kid, playing with my dad as a kid. This series meant a lot to me. And I know I'm being, nostalgic over this image of this creepy, long-haired freak licking his fingers in hell holding a baby doll. But Twisted Metal 2 was really special to me. And to own this comic book, which is now probably the rarest item that I own just in general. May not be the most valuable item that I own in general, but it is probably the rarest item that I own, was special to me. And this is a holy grail for me. And so this is something I am going to hold on to. I'm going to treasure, as long as I can. And so, yeah, with that, that's how I wasted my money. And so with the amount of money that I spent on this, I probably could have gotten the full run of Metal Gear Solid and Mortal Kombat. But the rarity of this item, I could not ignore. And so really quick, I'll get a more close version of Calypso there for you all to look at. Turn it around, take a look at that great 1996 PlayStation advertisement. The PS1, no console will ever feel to me like the PS1 did, especially during this time. So yes, 7.0, not the best grade, but to be honest, just some wear on the spine, some wear on the edges, a crease up here. But I am so happy to own this. And so with that, that is how I wasted my money in the summer and spring of 2026. I wish you all the best rest of your day and advise you, please be more responsible with your money. Go buy stock in Blockbuster or something, because you might have a better chance at earning money that way than I will with all of the junk that I just bought. With that, enjoy the rest of your day and have a good one.